So the Shanahans and the McCaffreys all together again, like they're the Waltons. We know that Ed McCaffrey were number 87 for those Denver Broncos championship years for Papa Mike. And now Kyle, who wore 87 in honor of Ed McCaffrey when he was in college at Texas, he's now got Ed's kid. So Mike's kid is coaching Ed's kid. And they're trying to win a championship just like the dads did. And Christian McCaffrey is back in the Bay Area, where supposedly he left his team in the lurch, and that was a red flag about how he didn't want to play football when he didn't play in his bowl game. And beware, you shouldn't draft him because the guy can't run between the tackles, and he's going to get hurt a lot. And sure enough, he runs between the tackles quite a bit in Carolina to the point where they pay him a huge contract that the Carolina Panthers are now out from under. And McCaffrey did, over the last 2 years, prove to be a little bit more brittle than he would like to have been. Last 3 years, he's had injuries.
I think he's played, Chris, 16 games, something like that over the last 3 years?
It's really the last 2 years has been the biggest issue for him. Last 2 years, he just played 10 games. He had 16 game seasons in his first 3, and then in the pandemic year, it was dreadful. Okay. Last year, he couldn't stay on the field, and this year, he's played all 6 for Carolina.
When healthy.
So this is the issue with McCaffrey, and this is my issue with the trade for the 49ers, because you cannot throw the last 2 years out. You can focus on the first 3. Mm-hmm. They get the first 3 years of McCaffrey, look out, because you've got McCaffrey, who I will never forget at the Combine. At the Combine, McCaffrey ran receiver drills better than most receivers at the Combine.
Really?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So they got a running back who could play receiver, and a receiver who can play running back, and a fullback who can play tight end. And they've got a tight end who can do it all, and they've got Ayuk on top of it. And they've got a ton of other running backs, as we know. And Trent Williams coming back to block for him. This is what you do if you're the Niners. You get parts that you can't read pre-snap what they're going to do. And Shanahan pre-snap coming up with the plan for him is all kinds of evil and so difficult for a defense to prepare for. McCaffrey, like I said, can do it all from that position. Debo can do it all from his position. Kittle, all world. Juszczyk, all world. They've got it. They got all the parts. If McCaffrey is healthy, you cannot leave that out of the equation. And fascinatingly enough, the team that apparently was in on this up until the end, and Scott Fitterer in this sudden auction of one of the top running backs in the league when healthy. Another team that was in on it at the very end was the Los Angeles Rams.
Of course.
Why wouldn't they be?
And this is a huge moment in the 2022 campaign in the NFC West. The Niners wind up with McCaffrey, not the Rams. As we all know, Cam Akers, it looks like he's not going to play another down for this team in Los Angeles at running back. You got Darrell Henderson, and you've got Malcolm Brown. Kyron Williams, right? And so this is the running back core that the Rams are going to have to come out of the bye week with. And the running back core that the 49ers have includes McCaffrey going into this game against the Chiefs. And apparently McCaffrey's ready to just get out there. Why not? What's he going to do? Just stand around in his pajamas when the Niners are 3-3 and the Chiefs are coming into the house? No, I mean, kids from Stanford should be smart enough to pick up an offense that is in his own DNA, literally and figuratively. So go for it. And the Niners, I literally thought, I tweeted it out when I saw this trade, do they have any draft choices left? Because as we know, next year is the final year of that 2-year deal that they made in terms of draft choices with Miami to go trade up for Lance in last year's draft. They don't have a first-round pick next year. And they gave away 2, 3, and a 4 next year to go get McCaffrey and a 5th in 2024. So, yeah, the Niners do have choices left. They've got 2 third-round picks, compensatory picks, because they have a ton of compensatory picks that they've accrued because coaches of color have been hired elsewhere. And under the new rules that the league has set up, they get a compensatory pick for that. One of those coaches is coming up in about 10 minutes' time, in Robert Saleh.
And the other one is Miami's head coach.
That's correct. Because Mike McDaniel is considered that. Mm-hmm. Look it up. Martin Mayhew's another one. So they have all of these compensatory picks. They still have 2 of them left. They've got a 5th and 2 7ths next year. Smoke them if you got them. If you're a Niner fan, next year in Kansas City, all the way till deep on Friday night. And go for it. Go for it. If this guy stays healthy, and he has so far this year, this is going to be a major problem. And 49er fans should feel great. Absolutely great. Like I said, running back who could play receiver, receiver who could play running back, fullback who could play tight end who is a great tight end. Other receivers who are great receivers. Coach who knows how to dial it up. Defense that has championship quality if healthy. Niners look terrific. Sitting there at 3-3 right now. I like it. I like the trade. Go for it. You got the ability to have your owner and Jed York say, go for it. And the general manager and the coach aren't looking over their shoulders saying, if this thing doesn't work out, are we going to get our asses fired? I told you, the seat in San Francisco, no matter how many times you say that the Niners underperform under Kyle Shanahan, whose overall record is 500, right around it, hovering right around it, that seat is so not hot.
Okay. Well, he's out of excuses now.
And part of the reason why, Chris, is our first guest in the second hour. Chip Kelly was a back-to-back one and dones in San Francisco. They didn't want to do that anymore. From Harbaugh to Kelly to Tom Sula, they just didn't want to do that anymore. And they got Kyle Shanahan, and they're sticking with him, and they're sticking with the program. And you stick McCaffrey in that program, if healthy, great. And if not, then the less need F all them picks mantra that clearly is now roosting in San Francisco, that might be a problem. Or Jeff Wilson, that's just going to be the guy that you're going to have. And then next year when you're sitting in Kansas City smoking him if you got him at the top of the Friday night of the draft, you'll miss it. You'll miss it.